Okay, guys, welcome back to another cartoon conspiracy. And this conspiracy actually comes again from me about the show, probably very underground, called Moral Orel from the mid 2000s on Adult Swim's lineup. I just started watching on a whim, mainly because it kept popping up on TV tropes I wanted to see what it was about. But when the show first came out, I was only 10 and I didn't really watch a lot of stuff on Adult Swim. If anything, it was probably like Family Guy and Futurama. I didn't understand why it was adult humor. This theory mainly pertains to season 3, as it is considered consistent continuity by the creator and fans. Now, to explain what it is, it revolves around the father, mother of the main character, Orel Puppington, and the resident doctor, Dr. Potterswheel. Now, the father and mother have a terrible marriage. I'm not gonna lie. The mom cheated on the dad. Dad's a raging alcoholic, and they're supposed to be a satire of the upstanding 1950s parents who are also into strong Christian faiths. Now, Clay Puppington, and this is hell-bent on getting revenge for what he believes is the main reason his marriage to his wife Roberta is failing. Dr. Potterswheel. As seen in the episode Numb, Roberta has been shown to actively seek out an understanding boyfriend type for a sense of genuine romantic affection and acceptance. This really isn't even tied around the time when her husband goes out the house. She's done this all her life. Everybody beats up on Roberta. I don't know why. And for some reason, this makes her one of my most sympathetic and favorite characters. These two things that are missing from her life have been notable, especially in flashbacks, and cause her to make rash, unwise judgments only to fail miserably. In fact, the only people I've probably seen who have loved her consistency are her illegitimate son, Shapey, and later Block, and possibly Orel, but even he doesn't realize what's going on half the time. She attempts to seduce Dr. Potterswheel and gains his handkerchief, though he doesn't really get that she's trying to seduce him. She sees the handkerchief as a reminder of a time when someone actually cared about her, and it's set up to make her feel inwardly happy. I don't know how to phrase it. As such, it's seen as a trophy for her. The same handkerchief that Clay finds here at the end of the same episode. Of course, he was really drunk and questioning some things he was doing, whether it was a hallucination, but he seems like he remembers it and kept it on his person. In a later episode, Sacrifice, Clay seems to be carrying the item as a reminder that someone else has captured his wife's heart. Clay overheard the discussion between Roberta and Earl in Nature, where they asked each other, well, why did you marry Dad? Well, why not? Well, it's just that when he drinks, he becomes a completely different person. Oh, he doesn't change, Earl. That's just his true nature coming out. This is a discussion about why she married him after, on a failed hunting trip, his father shot him in the leg. And they left that there in 2 days while he's passed out asleep. And then after hearing the discussion, he seems to actually feel guilty about his drinking, and general selfishness has hurt his family, especially when Roberta actually walks out, starts crying, sees him, and walks back to the room and tries to cover it up. And he actually looks a bit guilty for a moment. Most notably, he seems to feel worse about how Roberta feels, and how she attempts to justify his behavior. Now in Before Oral, which is a short made later down the line after the show had been canceled, but actually 4 years later, Clay is notably distraught that Roberta cheated on him and gave birth to, unbeknownst to him, his future lover's, Danielle's son. And before you say anything, Danielle is a gay man who is more or less a very, very desperate, and he wanted Clay's attention, so he seduced Roberta, making her think they were in a loving relationship, and got her pregnant on the chance to see Clay again. Clay didn't even know who he was until probably later on down the line. This moment signifies that he did not begin cheating on her with Danielle, his real name is Daniel, I don't know why he wants to be called the female version, until after Shapey's birth. He wasn't even aware of Danielle's existence at this point, meaning he was somewhat interested in having a stable relationship with Roberta, to the best of his abilities. Now, Clay and Roberta both have abusive backgrounds, come from abusive families, but, her insistence, actually, when they met, he was a Bible carrying, apple juice drinking guy, going straight to church every day, and she insisted that he try drinking, and that actually backfired terribly, which turned him into a raging drunk he is now. Her insistence at first that he tried drinking comes back into play when he rants in Nature about how alcohol was supposed to help him. But when he found the MacGuffin handkerchief, Clay wanted revenge on the person he perceived as ruining his marriage and is attempting to steal his wife, Dr. Parswell. Now, let me also explain. Clay is pretty much Carmel Houdini. He likes to blame others for his actions. He clearly had some proof that maybe some more was going on, and maybe he was still looking for the guy that impregnated Roberta, but he never put Danielle and Shapey 2 and 2 together. Especially since now they apparently were still going strong, Clay and Danielle, but they left Roberta out in the cold. Plus, maybe Clay was having an even evil Ted Sanders moment. He had a huge rant against the doctor in a bar when he pointed out the doctor's gross malpractice in handling his wife's injuries. Now, throughout the show, we've seen that Dr. Parswell is barely a back alley doctor. He doesn't treat your injuries. He just has people pray away, or he'll give them large quantities of painkillers, saying that it'll make the nagging warning signs in your body stop. Those nagging warning signs are supposed to tell you, hey, we're in a lot of pain, so don't jam us with, power tools. Okay? And including one point where we had a person who was a Jewish doctor, and that was a big part of his thing. He was hurt in an accident where there was a bobblehead with really pointy spikes of Jesus' face that went in his abdomen, and he had to go to the hospital. They decided, let's not treat this, because due to our religion, it's a sign from God, even though it's an imprint, and it starts to get infected, and they have patients come in with various diseases, rubbing their face in it and putting their hand on it, open wound, to pray their illness away. And the doctor even says that that God is taking them away when they die, instead of claiming responsibility and not treating them. It turns out his wife actually suffered from the same thing that Clay's wife, Roberta, suffered from in the episode Numb. Okay, I'm going to level with you guys. This is going to be the PG-13 part, so fast forward if you want. Roberta had been sticking a bunch of drills into her hoo-ha for at least a few years, thinking they were a great thing as a dildo. And they weren't. And one of them, she got the big drill, tore up so much, gas-powered, giant. She had to go to the doctor, bleeding and it's not her period, bunch of stinging pain. The doctor gave her some painkillers that actually numb her to the point that she cooked breakfast with her bare hand on a hot skillet, and she didn't feel a damn thing. Her maniac son's stuck a knife in her arm, and she didn't feel a damn thing. She just giggled. And Clay indicates maybe he did the same thing to his wife, because apparently she was trying to feed his fetish, and she died because she didn't realize her body was telling her to stop. It kind of says, well, maybe Clay wouldn't even go that far just to get his rocks off. Maybe. So maybe there's like a little bit of goodness in Clay, but it's really, really, really deep down, like if he was sober. Oh, who am I kidding? He's a monster. Well, that's it, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Now, I'm gonna explain how my theory videos work. I write the theory on my DeviantArt and Tumblr pages on Sunday, and then I actually release the videos on Thursday. So if you guys wanted a sneak peek of the theories, follow me on my accounts. The links are in the description below. Bye.